Good morning and happy Wednesday. I think today's the 19th. I guess I should have looked at the date before I pressed the live button. Oh my gosh, did you see that orb? Holy cow. Yay! Hello and welcome. Whoever's just on, you just missed an awesome orb. I can't believe that. I just saw it right in front of my face. So that was exciting. Hi, MJ. Hello, everybody. Hello. You guys, there was just an orb. So you guys have to click on, like in the very beginning, there was this huge orb that just like went in front of my face. As soon as I clicked on, oh my gosh, that was crazy. So you're gonna have to click back on the very, very beginning when I first did this because there was a huge orb that came in. Sorry, I'm distracted by the orb. It's live, it's fine. Good morning, happy coffee, happy Wednesday. I am so excited about our next guest. I do want to kind of tell you a little bit on, as people are clicking on, how kind of spirit, that's a bug, that's not an orb, how spirit kind of just throws people and other light workers in front of my face. And it was, I just noticed his Facebook page because we had a friend in common, and I just liked his page or asked him to be a friend, and then he messaged me last Wednesday, and instantly I could feel his energy, and I watched one of his videos, and I could tell he channeled spirit from the right side, and he was connected to the Pleiadians. So I wrote him, and I was like this, and he's like, yeah. So we kind of had a conversation, and I asked him, I said, would you like to be a guest? His name is Calvin, and he's super awesome. I love his energy. He makes my heart sing. He is a prophet. He is a psychic medium. He's a spiritual teacher. He is an author, and he is super, super extraordinary. We have a fun topic for you guys today, so like and share. Invite your friends. You don't want to miss this. I'm going to invite him on now. If I could stop having all my emails come. I cannot believe that orb. Oh, okay. Calvin, I can't invite you, so see if you can add yourself. Let me see. Hello, everybody. Good morning. I'm so glad that you guys are clicking on. Calvin, see if you can add yourself. For some reason, I can't add this here, and I don't know why, because there's no add button. Okay, let's see if you can do this. Facebook technology, and he is like so awesome with technology, and I'm like not. So he's like, how do you do this? Like, how do you do your live? And like talking about all these programs. I'm like, I just kind of hit the add live button because that's all I know, and nothing yet, Calvin. Yeah, because I'm not very tech or computer savvy, so I'm like, I don't know. Oh wait, maybe that's it. Got you. Here we go. Yeah, nice programming, and I have my phone. That's it. Calvin, yay!
Hello, beloved. I was like, what are we going to do? Because I did not see the option. So there we go.
How are you? Good morning.
I- I'm doing well. Good morning, beloved. It's a good day. It's a day of possibilities. That's kind of how Spirit is bringing the day. It's kind of a day of possibilities. So I feel like there's a lot of new creation in the energy. Charged. That's a good way to look at it. It's very charged
Yes, it
today.
is.
So I love that. It's great. I see you have a lot of people on. I see some of my people on as well. Hello, Libby.
Yay!
Hi, Haley. It's so nice to have you here. So yeah, we're just gonna talk and see what Spirit is saying and connecting with us on. And I'm so glad to be here
I'm
with
glad you
everyone.
got to join us. Why don't you tell, because a lot of my viewers may not know about you, why don't you just kind of give them a little info on who you are and how magical you are?
Okay, very good. Well, one, thank you so much for everyone that's here. I think everyone can see me okay here today. So one, I was really born. I have these innate, interesting gifts with me. For over 2 decades or so, give or take, I've been really been used as a channel for spirit. So I channel specific entities, non-physical entities. I'm also a prophet, I like to say, because that's my native tongue, although some people would say like oracle, in that side of things. And God gives me specific information about people's life, about their destiny, why they're here. Sometimes that kind of goes into past lives, decisions and contracts they made prior to coming into this earth realm. And then I kind of help remind them of that. I'm also a psychic medium. So, yes, I talk to the dead um, as well. And I'm an author. I think I have like 7 books now ish.
Oh, wow.
Um, yeah, I also thought of another book that I may get written in the next 30 to 45 days. We'll see. I got it
You
on my
will.
walk.
Holy cow.
So, ta-da. And so yeah, I tend to say I'm a bridge. I love the secular space, the religious space. I love the spiritual, new age, occultic pagan side of things. Our community is super diverse, from people that are believers and skeptics alike. And I find that spirit is everywhere, in all things, as all things, with all things, and it's just a matter of uncovering the mysteries there. So I get to, hi, Karen. So I really find enjoyment with connecting with people, and when they kind of get that aha moment and that glimpse that there's more for their life, that's the mission. So, however way it happens, and yeah, it's
I
fun.
love
And
it.
I love Oreo cookies if that matters for anything.
Who doesn't, right?
I mean,
Who doesn't?
hello. Love Oreo cookies. Love a nice glass of wine. Have 4 boys that we adopted, and my husband as well. And he works alongside of me with this wonderful journey, and we have a great community, of course. So yeah,
Four
that's me in a
boys.
nutshell.
Wow, you were busy. Woo!
Just a tad,
I was
just a
gonna
tad.
say, how old are your boys?
Oh my goodness, great question. 8, 7, 6, and 4.
Holy cow, you're busy. Oh my gosh. Well, that's awesome.
All
Very
boys.
awesome. I
So
bet you're a wonderful dad. That is awesome.
I love someone say you had me at wine. Yes, listen, I love spirits of every variety. So yes, absolutely.
That's awesome. So when you talked about because Calvin and I have talked a little bit before, and we talked
Yeah,
kind of about healing, and he mentioned it just a second ago about he said skeptics and all.
yeah.
And when you talked about healing, how do you, I guess, for somebody who is a skeptic, who's like, I have never done this, I don't know about this, how do you give them healing in a way where that makes I like to say my heart sing. So
I like to look at it this way, that God is not philosophical, God is very personal. And I feel like one of the responsibilities of any spiritual leader, but definitely someone that's a prophet that kind of sees the future, sees what's ahead, can help look into that deeper part of us. I think we have a responsibility to make that God and the universe and spirit relevant to people. So I often tell people, like, you don't have to believe me, believe your own experience. And that relieves a lot of pressure on me because I don't have anything to prove. It's not a lecture, it's not like a reputation that I need to uphold. It's really more about helping people come to their own revelation. I am a healer in that sense. So we have a lot of our, hi, Ken, so nice to have you here. We have a lot of our community that can attest to the experiences of healing that they've had. And even when I was younger, I think this is a challenge with younger kids. So I have a heart and a passion for helping the younger generation to really hone in their gifts. I didn't know what that was. And I would have experiences where I would pray for people and they would get healed. I mean, everything from the common cold to things like cancer. I went through one season about 2 years ago where it actually has been continuing, where Spirit's been working with me on women that have been barren and having children. And so a lot of it has really been definitely physical, but a lot of it's emotional as well. And so I kind of look at healing in the sense of helping to realign you, that there are experiences we go through that fragment us, throughout our life. And sometimes it's emotional, sometimes it's physical, sometimes it's spiritual. And then my job is to simply say, adjust it 20 degrees, move over 2 feet. And if you can just simply realign yourself, and that comes a lot through revelation with me, that the rest works itself out. I feel it like the universe is designed, the anima, it has its own life force. It has its own will, in a sense. It course corrects itself without our involvement. I believe the body is the same way. I believe our spirit, our soul, our calling is the same way. Um, and so in that particular instance, I just say, listen, let's just get you back on track. And I'm just simply the conduit to remind you that healing is always there. You just need to be reminded of it.
Right.
And that's it. It's really just giving them a different story. I mean, we're all bombarded with negative programming. We see this on TV, certain podcasts, social media, in a sense, and we have adapted to that particular lack language, I would say. So a lot of what I try to help come in and do is to say, listen, while that is a reality, it doesn't have to be your full revelation. Here's
Hmm.
the other parts of you that Spirit loves you and Spirit cares for you, and you're not alone in this world. And Spirit gets no benefit by you being sick. The world gets no benefit by you not living in your passion, expressing your truth. And that's it. And if as I touch one person and they touch three people, and then three people touch their community, this is how change happens. So it's fun. It's radical. I love it. It's controversial in a
Right.
lot of cases. But my thing is, if it changes you, if you have one glimpse of spirit, especially if you're a skeptic, I do my best work with skeptics actually, because they typically don't come in with a filter.
Right.
um,
Exactly.
and so it's really a fun experience all around. I love it. So yeah, thank you.
That's awesome. It's funny because I keep hearing like a spirit walked in and it said, when you were talking about healing, there's a lot of people commenting
Hmm.
about Jennifer's child that had passed, and they were talking about, say it again. This is a fun, fascinating question that they're asking me.
Okay.
Have you ever, when you've opened women up and people who have a hard time with pregnancy and you've aligned them to bring in a child, have you ever transferred and awakened the child with gifts?
Yes. And it's an interesting um, process, and it's funny. A lot of times when people hear things like someone is a prophet, someone's a psychic, someone's a medium, we sometimes put it in this almost like elitist category, like
Mhm.
these are the only people in the world that can do this. They're the special ones. For as an example, I tend to look at it like this. I don't believe that anyone is more special than anyone else, but I believe your gifting makes you special,
Mhm.
whatever that is. Whether you're an artist, whether you're a singer, I cannot sing like Beyonce. That's just her gift. um,
Right.
and I celebrate that with her. I honor that. I buy her. I've never been to one of her concerts, but I would buy one of her tickets to go experience and witness her unique divine genius. And that's how I look at anyone with any specific gifts. It's not that anyone's better than anyone else. Someone says like Sylvia Brown, absolutely love Sylvia Brown, beautiful soul there. And so with children that are in the womb, I believe that children that are in the womb, um, I look at it like this: they are signals that are transforming in physical form. That's all it is. Everything to me is a message. The message just happens to be materialized in flesh. And so, in that particular instance, I'm reminded of I had a situation. I think it was like 2 weeks ago, give or take. And one of the things that I told her, the lady, I said, don't be worried, don't be concerned. I talked about some challenges with the pregnancy that she was aware of. I wasn't aware of it, but we talked about it. And I said, this child has to be born because here's the destiny of this particular child. And you're the unique conduit and caregiver for that particular message. Now, the interesting thing about prophecy, is prophecy is I've been again fine tuning this for like 25 plus years. So sometimes it's very direct. It's very, this is going to happen at this particular time. And I'll call out names and birth dates and times, the whole nine yards. And then sometimes it can be almost in the space of like how oracles talk, where it's almost cryptic spiritual language. And then I have to learn how to translate. So I have had times where I've said, listen, you will give birth to a baby girl, for instance, and here's how she will be. And then what will happen is that person is already pregnant and they have a miscarriage. And so then there's the conversation back and forth with me, with them, with spirit to say, well, why is this occurring? And then spirit comes back to remind even me, and I'm an expert at this, pro at this. I mean, sometimes they a master as well. And sometimes spirit even reminds me this like, while that is what you saw and see, and it is a reality, make sure you don't assume that what I am showing you is this particular experience. That sometimes we bypass these particular experiences. So in this case, it was a miscarriage, it was there, it was part of the healing process that needed to happen, and then she had the child that we talked about. And so a lot of times what I remind people is that, I believe there's a science to it, but I believe there's some strategies that go into it. And I believe that sometimes we do go through these hard dynamics. For instance, with women with being barren. I've never had that experience, so I don't pretend to claim how it feels, how it is, and how it affects people. But one of the things I do know is that a lot of healing is psychological. And a lot of the healing on the hurt process is mental. It is the story that has been created, it's the thought form. And as I'm working with people, I help them to reposition the story in their life. And because the reality is, if we want to make it universal, have we not all had experiences where we felt we were giving birth to something and it didn't come to pass? A business, a relationship, a move across the country, and the child was aborted in a sense. So not to make it a light situation with someone that gives birth physically, of course, but to make it more universal for everyone, I believe we're all going through that experience. And what will you create? What will you take care of? What can spirit entrust to you? It's a powerful experience. So I find that anyone that is a prophet, channels, a medium, psychic, a lot of what we're doing is, listening, obeying, interpreting, flowing. Like for instance, I'm just, someone's son passed away somewhere around 8 or 10 years old, between 8 and 10 years old, a couple years ago. That's watching the live right now, and they're wanting a message from him, right? And so a lot of that comes through quite often. So it's a very interesting journey with me. The lines of reality and well, let me say it this way: the lines of physical reality and non-physical reality are one and the same experience with me, and it's great. And so, hi Haley, so love to you. I see Haley's on as well. So thank you everyone that's joining live. Yeah.
I don't want to
Hmm.
interrupt you because I can tell when spirit's coming in.
Yeah, it's someone, I'm trying to figure out if this is a concussion that someone had. Um, the back of your head almost feels like you recently fell and hit your head, and part of it strained your neck, like upper neck. Who is that? Um, Hi, Cheryl. So wonderful. Hi, Sean, um, as well.
Somebody claims that.
There was a Jennifer.
Mm-hmm.
Is she, when she passed, was she in her teens? How old was she? Jennifer? Did someone say Jennifer? There's a
There's a
head
couple.
thing that somebody literally, so this is how it happens with me on the healing side of things. Someone recently just fell, hit their head, but it's been straining in their neck. I
Thank
feel
you.
like this person also has some nervous things that have already been going on for several years, but the head injury is recent. I want to say within the last 6 days or so. So who is that? So what I want to say on that is I'm just gonna pray that healing occurs um, with this particular person. It's funny because this person actually is really health minded as well. This is the irony of this. So they're really health minded, but it was almost this freak accident that occurred. And there's been this contemplation of going back and forth to the doctor. It's okay. It's fine. It was just weird how it happened. And you're fine. Honestly, you're really going to be okay. But I am going to say this particular person, kind of a workaholic. I love it. It's great. But Spirit's also saying there's some things that are coming through you that this is a season for you to rest a little bit. Okay. And so I would like to know who that is. This is always fun if this happens in person, but it happens online quite often. So who is
Yeah,
that?
I think
Um,
it was Adeline, or I can't remember her name went up.
I can't see a
Um,
comment, so I don't know.
I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure who it is yet. So it's funny because
Um,
as you're doing, I'm double channeling here with you. I heard that when you said, as soon as I heard you said taking time out, it's because they're starting to awaken and they're needing to listen. And it's funny because I talked about this on my Monday morning messages about listening, and it's their time to kind of open up and listen to the questions that they've been answering.
mhm. Is there a Lisa here? Sounds like Lisa. A Lisa here watching right now that has also been going back and forth to the doctor. A Lisa. Oh, wait a minute. Haley says I can see like two comments at a time, so it just kind of keeps
Yes,
circling
me as well.
back. Um, Lisa. Oh, so it's Alita. Oh, hey, Alita. Okay. Lisa. Okay. Lisa, have you been going back and forth to the doctor? Because I'm also getting some healing things. So Lisa Johns Baratek.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's interesting, Lisa, because I'm also getting your father as well. Thank you guys for your patience. This is kind of how it is. Um, I'm waiting for Lisa to respond. The only thing about Facebook, which is really funny, it's probably a good and interesting thing. Oftentimes, it's about a 30-second delay. So I'll be talking and then I'll end up seeing the comment um, back and forth, which is completely
Yes, I've
um,
gave Lisa a reading, so you're on. So
okay.
I know who you're talking about.
Lisa, I'm getting some things with your dad as well in the space of healing. I'm also getting some things with you on a physical side of things, back and forth with the doctor with some concerns as well. So I'm going to say this. This may be a runs in a family thing, which is why the dad is coming through with me as well. I'm going to say health is going to be a major focus with you, especially over the next couple of years regarding things like cholesterol, high blood pressure, etc. I'm getting some imbalances in that space, but I really feel like Spirit is working through you in a process of restoration in that particular space. Um, and your dad, interesting, is also, is your dad passed on? I'd like to clarify that because I'm getting a message from,
He has.
he
You're
has, okay.
piggybacking everything I've gave her, so I love
Oh,
this.
perfect. Um, that your dad is coming through as well. Now, it's interesting, a lot of how he's um, talking with me and conversating right now is in the space of, I almost hate to say this because I feel like it's so generic and it can apply to so many men, but I will say it because this is his personality. Um, he's almost this unencumbered, kind of strong, manly type that was there that could almost be unattached, seemingly, in the relationship. But I will tell you, there's a lot of healing, a lot of love that's coming through with him. And it's interesting because I don't know if did he have um, a heart condition at some level. Yeah, I keep getting these chest um, abnormalities that are happening with me there. I will say this is almost like he's coming across through with a level of regret, saying that he didn't do everything he needed to do, wanted to do with you. Um, and he wanted to make sure that that does not impact your emotional relationships as well. So I want to just provide some healing continually on that. I'm not going to go too much in depth because I'll just keep on going with that. But allow that process and experience with your physical dad um, to help re-engineer some things about relationships um, with you. So if there wasn't ever, I'm sorry from dad, let me relay that now through this experience. Dad is sorry, and dad still wants you to be a healthy, whole, healed person as well. So, yeah.
Thank you for that.
Samuel just joined, is watching. Samuel, are you in the arts, like creative arts? Um, because I'm seeing you on stage, so I'm trying to see is Samuel Allen that just popped up. Is Sam on stage? Because I'm seeing Sam traveling and being on lots of stages. Dancing? Is there some dancing or theater? So I'm gonna have see if Samuel's watching. This is the funny thing because people tune in, but if they don't stay long enough, then it kind of it's or whatever. So I want to see is Samuel on right now because there is a message on that space. Um, Also, with your, did you just get married a couple of years ago, 2 years ago? Sam.
Waiting.
Mm-mm-mm. Waiting.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of waiting, so we just keep on
You're like me.
going. Yeah, I just
Don't you guys love this? How similar we are? It's
yeah, I don't.
fantastic.
I listen. Whenever I do live streams, my community already knows. I tell them like, listen, stay to the end because I will go back and forth, and sometimes I will go to one particular person, and then I'll switch, and I may come back to you again in like 30 minutes. So I just say let's keep going, as well.
Hmm.
Melissa, do you have I'm seeing two children. This is Melissa. I don't see your name right now. Melissa, I'm seeing two children, a son and a daughter, but the daughter is interesting for me. Almost, yeah. Let me go back to the son. Melissa, does Melissa have a son? Let me rephrase it. Melissa has a son. I want to talk about the son. Is there some things happening with him health wise, mental wise? Let me say it this way, more developmental that's occurring with him. Um, I'll take ADHD. But I'm seeing some learning comprehension things that are happening with them, mostly in school. So this is for Melissa. Okay, so Melissa says yes to boy and a girl, but I'm talking about the boy. Does that make sense for Melissa? Hi,
My hands
Jay.
are off. So
Jay's an author. Jay's in our
when,
community.
when my hands go off like this, that means somebody needs healing. So if you
Yeah,
see me shaking, that's what that is.
yeah. So,
Yes, and a daughter. Yeah, you're right. Hmm.
okay, perfect. Yes, and a daughter. With your son, I want to talk about him for a moment. I feel like I'm going to say it this way. We all love our children, but we don't always like them every day, right? It's just the reality of it. I have four kids. I can say that. Um, with your son, I feel like there's so much attention that goes to your son because it's almost like you need to do this. It's like some of the challenges that are with him causes you to dive a little bit deeper in that relationship, almost like you have to work a little bit harder. So I really want to encourage you in that space. Spirit sees that. It's great. Also, I want to talk about, I am getting some learning. I hate to say disorders because I look at them more like distinctions, like we all
Right.
comprehend things in our own particular way, but I'll work with that. Is he having challenges right now with school?
She
Okay,
said
okay,
yes, but he hasn't been diagnosed.
no diagnose. Um, Here's what I want to say right now with him. I want you to monitor how he is. How do I want to say this with kids? Is he around? Oh, is he the 8 to 10 year old? How old is he? I feel like he's younger. Okay. So I'll keep going with him. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of what's happening with him is not specifically an issue of distractions. It's not an issue of ADHD. Um, really, what's happening is he's actually starting to sense and see things.
Yep, because
Um,
he's getting downloads.
yeah, yeah. Oh, so okay, Melissa just said, oh, he is 8. Okay, perfect. This is great. And so a lot of what's happening is he's actually at the beginning stages of his, I'm going to say his psychic abilities. He's going to be a little bit closer on the mediumship side. There's a connection with your grandmother. Um, this may not be for you, but there's a Julie that's also coming through. It may be somebody else's grandmother, Julia. But back to 8 year old with Melissa.
He needs a mentor.
Your son is he's in the onset of that. So what looks like distractions is him trying to hone in his hearing. So if you see him kind of glancing away, he's not looking, listening to you quite often. Um, or if he's just kind of away, almost like it's probably going to look like oppositional defiance. That's not what's happening with him. He's not really being defiant in a sense or avoidant in a sense. He's kind of trying to work it out with his own life. So I'll just encourage you. I feel like that's going to peak with him around 12 years old. And so, are you single, Melissa? Sorry, this is just, yeah. Well, Melissa, are you single?
She's in tears right now, ringing so true to me. Not sure about the question yet.
Okay. The reason I'm asking, are you single? Because I'm seeing you, daughter, him. I'm going to say father.
She said no.
Okay. So I'm going to say it this way. Thank you. I love the clarification. Married. Perfect. I'm seeing father, farther away from son.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to get the clarification of that right now. If he is not as attached to dad, I'm going to just say allow that process to unfold like it needs to. Um, Generally speaking, what happens a lot of times with parents is one parent, they want their children to be connected with both parents kind of almost equally or unilaterally. That's just not the case with him. Allow the relationship with his father to develop like it needs to, in a sense. So I'm not sure if dad's kind of almost washed his hands or he's not as engaged with the son. Allow that process to work itself out. There's going to be a really unique dynamic that occurs with both of them, but they need to work it out. So I'm going to say, while you have the love for them, try not to mediate as much with them. So I'm not going to go too much in that, but I think that Melissa, was it Melissa? Melissa
Yep.
understands what I'm talking about. Yeah.
It's fascinating. I'm going to interrupt you because Spirit
Okay.
came in and said, talking about healing work with children when we were talking about healing, and there was so
Hmm.
much going on. Yeah, struggle with their relationship. This is great insight because I feel like he also needs a mentor, and I was seeing us working with children, and it was something I was gonna do, but Spirit like keeps coming in and pushing this strong on the new wave of children that are coming in. How
Yes.
slow down, who are super empathic. My son is moving into he has just turned 11, and all of a sudden his feelings are awakening. My daughter's been a seer since she was born, but I didn't realize my son is, and he is now stepping into this where the children are becoming more awakened and bringing they go extreme clarity to adults and to the world, and through their gifts of sight, of healing, feeling, slow down, and knowing, it awakens adults. And the more that we can gather these children together, because there I'm seeing a room full of children, and work with these children, and they need to hone in their gifts and be able to understand that. I work
Hmm.
with some children here. Do you work or have a group, or have ever thought about doing a group of children and working
We
with them? And
Yes, we have actually. That's if my husband is watching this, he's probably going to put like 1,000 exclamation marks in the comments. But um, that's been an extreme calling. One of the things that we are officially in the process of launching is more of um, a school for extraordinary individuals, kind of like an X-Men, so to speak. Obviously, with a strong emphasis on adults, clearly, but really on the next generation of these superheroes that are rising up, that they, in my perspective of this, really they have the giftings, they have the embodiment there, but not a lot of the direction, so to speak. And so one of the things the Spirit has really been talking to me about is providing an incubator that they can, one, know what's happening and have those
Yep.
conversations. Like I know with me when I was growing up, I had these things happening to me and I had no freaking idea what was happening.
Right.
My family didn't know because while they went to church, and I went to church, my background is like Christian and Pentecostal, although, I'm completely expanded with that right now. I do, I'm a magician, I'm a shaman, I'm a oracle, a seer, blah, 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 blah. And one minute I may talk to you about Christianity and the next minute Buddhism and the next minute, you know, magic or something. Completely expanded. I love it. But I was in a community when I was younger that did not know these things. So I was experiencing seeing angels, hearing things, knowing what was happening going to happen to people. Um, my bed was levitating. I can give you stories for days. And when you're that young and you don't have a filter, you kind of don't understand the discretion that sometimes goes into this particular gift. So I was telling people like, "Oh my God, your mom's going to die in 2 weeks. You're going to get in a car accident this evening. Be careful." And while it was true, it's like no one wants to hear that crap. So you
Mhm.
being able to fine tune that is really strong. But I will say this: the reason that Spirit has been engaging with me a lot stronger is because um, as a channeled vessel, really for what's happening in our planet, a lot of what my guides have been telling me is that um, this while we have been working with, let's say, spirit, the eternal collective consciousness for the most part, for a lot of us that are very 4D minded, the next generation, they're not going to be in that space. They're going to be dealing more in an intergalactic space, other species, which is a completely different frequency, completely different operation. Those people that channel understand the distinction with it. And so as a consequence, that there's a preparation that happens with parents too, because having your child needed to be kind of locked away or incubated for days at a time because they're chatting with some other galactic entity, or they're doing more astral soul travel and their physical body is here but their soul body in essence is somewhere else. That's a completely different conversation, one of which I've never heard anyone else talk about except for me. I'm sure other people are talking about it. I'm just not hearing it. And so one of the visions is, and I think we just posted it again on our Facebook page, is to actually have a physical container, a planned community, that when that happens, and it will, that there's a safe space, there's an education that goes along with it as well. And that's really the new generation that we're going into. And so it's interesting. It's sometimes frustrating because as a prophet, you see these things far out.
Mhm.
And a lot of times it is personal, and Spirit is communicating with us individually, like Spirit's been doing right now. And then a lot of the role of the prophet is a little bit expanded. So I view it with me when I'm working with someone individually, I tend to be a little more psychically driven, mediumship side of things. When I start talking about people's destiny or the path or plan of the greater good, I step more in that prophetic role, which I know is a new term for a lot of people. I had to say, it's okay. It's a name. You'll learn it later. So yeah, back to the question. Yeah, kids, definitely a strong emphasis um,
And I
in that
think
particular state.
and I
Yeah.
think it's important that kids realize that they're not alone. And just as we, like with like-minded people, the kids have like-minded people. I have a couple kids that I work with, and they don't have anybody. They go to a Catholic school, and she's like, I don't have anybody to connect with. I don't talk to this. And a lot of kids are having these experiences, and we don't know about it because nobody has asked them. Nobody has said, do you see this? Oh, yeah, because they could think it's normal. As my gifts, have I assumed everybody else had the same experiences when they meditated and everything else. I thought this was normal. So I think it's great. I think the spirit keeps coming in. I think it's something I'm going, because they've been pushing it for a while. We talked about this. Oh my
Right.
gosh. All of a sudden I was like, oh, when you said that, like, I'm like, oh yeah, and I don't want to go into that, but because spirit goes, you two can do these things, slow down, events where we hold these for children.
Absolutely.
Um,
Absolutely.
so it's something, we'll talk about, because this is not going to be the first and the last time you see me and Calvin working together. We'll be working together in the future, and it's something we're going to, I'll continue to channel with spirit. I don't want to waste everybody's time as I sit here and channel with this, because everybody kind of knows my story with my kids and knows that, especially my daughter is super intuitive, and the stuff that's been happening with my son. So I have a long history of this in my family, and it's, happening to my children. I didn't expect my son. So, yeah, I love that. Say that again. Not only are the kids our future, but they see this world through bright eyes. Experiences that they can create and have and make this place a beautiful, magical kingdom that they not only vision and see, they keep going like this to me to a double layer. But if the more we encourage them and they go light that fire within them, they turn this world and what their vision in their head is into a beautiful reality where peace and love is in the forefront. And as parents and grandparents and adults, if we pour love and light into these children, they are the way, the forefront, and the seers of a new wave, of a new light for this world, for peace, for love, not only within the four walls of the United States, but to continue throughout the world. Speaking peace and spreading love will change our reality, and our face will turn to source, to the universe. And then everybody will realize that this life is made for joy, for fun, for peace, for love. And the more we feed our children with love and light, the more this can go prosper and this appears in front of our face. So yeah, I am sorry, that just that's how spirit
No, don't
works.
be sorry. It's fine.
Kind of comes in.
I'm over here hearing things anyway, so it's okay. We're okay.
I figured you were. Go ahead.
Quick question. Whose birthday is October the 12th? October the 12th. Also, is Samuel still here? Because this is coming up again. So it's very interesting. Samuel. It was Samuel Allen. And then October the 12th.
Still waiting.
That message is mostly about career. This one, career and finances. So
I noticed there's some people. She said my brother. My ex's birthday is October 12th, Kimberly said. My spirit just says, I think just deliver it, because if somebody maybe isn't willing to comment, I feel it here. They're bringing me to this.
let me say it this way. The person I'm talking to there is a birthday, October the 12th, attached to a death of somebody, but also attached to the new business that's coming out of this person, which has not been where they wanted it to be. Um, and I feel like a lot of the struggle on the business financial side of things has been because of um, it doesn't feel like a recent death, but it feels like a death that they're having a trouble understanding and working through. I never try to tell people to accept death because it just is, I think it's a little insensitive to say that. So I tend to work off of like Elizabeth Kubler-Ross's perspectives on, with her book on death and dying. For those of you that are psychology buffs, she says that we all go through different stages of grief and loss, and one of them is acceptance and or understanding. So I tend to tell people like when death occurs that we don't necessarily have to accept it, but we can understand it. So who is the October 12th birthday?
I think is it TOI? It says my father born and died on October 12th.
Oh, okay. So this is funny. Well, not funny, but it's interesting because Tori's one of my clients, proteges. She's in our community, and she will actually tell you I did not know that information. I feel like it's somebody else too, another female, but I feel like yeah. So this is what happens to me a lot of times when I get in this space. They bridge together. So I'll give you a toy, yes, but there's somebody else too with another male. So I need to place him.
I'm wondering if it was Lori, because Lori said that my brother, but she hasn't mentioned anything else, so I'm not sure.
Did the brother pass?
There is a dad passing, but that's a different date.
So let me say this for both.
Okay.
By October the 12th of this year, Tori says she just happened to click on. By October the 12th this year, this will be a complete full cycle. That the healing that you've been looking for, not just with this particular male figure individually, but with your business as well, that new life comes through that, and where the struggle has been occurring. A lot of it has been focused because of the loss you've been experiencing. Like people come, people go, people come, people go. And so it's shaking a lot of your foundation. But by October the 12th, clock it. Write it down, put it on the calendar. New life is coming through you. And this is not to say that you're going to forget the memory of this person, or that what they did or didn't do is going to somehow be redeemed. But it is to say that you're going to have a new resurrection, a new image that comes through because of that. And you'll finally be able to move forward. Not specifically on, because that's a journey, right? But to be able to move forward in the way that you need for it to be. October 12th is going to be a really, really powerful time for you. Okay, so Lydia saying my late husband's birthday was October the 12th. Okay, perfect. Oh, so there are several people. Okay. Ashley.
If it's a piggyback message, yeah.
So whenever that comes through with me, especially prophetically, while sometimes it's very individual, sometimes it is a little more collective. And yeah, so if there's several things that are happening there, take it in and absorb it as your own as well. Okay. Kimberly, I'm seeing a new marriage with you. What's Kimberly Dawn? Kimberly Dawn, I'm seeing a new relationship coming through with you. Very, very interesting. It's so funny because I almost feel like you had this vow of of singleness for a while, as directed and instructed by spirit. And it's interesting. So I want to go. Who is it? Sorry, message left. Who was I talking about?
Just passed by.
Yeah, sorry, that just completely. Who was I talking about? Kimberly. Your name is not spelled with a Y, but Kimberly with the I-E. Dawn, yes. Kimberly, Dawn. I've been single for 5 years. Okay, perfect. So let me talk to Kimberly now. Kimberly, Spirit has had you in this single mindedness for, yes, for 5 years. Absolutely. And a lot of that has been Spirit instructed and initiated and ordained as a way of kind of, um, I don't want to say, reshift, refocus your level of self esteem and your power because you've been giving so much of yourself to other people. That's going to soon pass. I am telling you, I feel like within by the end of the year, that you have someone come through and with you, but they're going to be a part of your path as well. Kimber, for this for Kimberly, Dawn, your path is definitely one of I'm going to say empathic healing because that's the word phrase that keeps coming to me. You're almost like your presence being around people is a healing force. Not that you need to always speak, not that you always need to converse with people, but that part of your power is your presence. And a lot of what's happened with you in past relationships is that you've kind of had that power siphoned away from you. Um, Let me say this too, and this will be for everybody, but it's mostly for Kimberly. I feel like a lot of that has been because you didn't want to outshine or didn't want it to be like egoic. Let me just give you Calvin's 101 on ego. Ego is not a bad thing, contrary to popular opinion on a lot of different things. Anything that exists for a reason. So sometimes we don't use it properly, but it's there for a reason, right? So I tend to say ego is simply expressing God outwardly. So a lot of what you're going through right now is you've been in this incubation season in a way so you can own your power, own your truth, and realize that you are a healing power presence. And that's what you do. So as a consequence, yes, you attract a lot of, or have attracted a lot of people that are in need of healing, specifically emotional and sometimes physical, but definitely more emotional. And the last couple of years has really just been about preparation for you. Not because you weren't ready, but because you were in the process of being revealed. So definitely, I'm going to say between now, November, yeah, mid-November feels like a super powerful month for you. And there's something powerful that happens to you around March as well. Yeah, I don't know if March has significance for you, but I feel like March 15th, March 16th is going to be just a powerful year for you, 2019, um, as well. So keep that in your journey. So yeah, that's for Kimberly Dawn. Okay, boom. Kimberly Dawn. Does your son suffer from, not trying to be too personal, I'm usually pretty as discreet as I can for this. Does your son suffer from MPD or PD, sorry, clinical terms, multiple personality disorder, manic depression, anything in that space? Does the son, you have one son, right? One child? Let me go back to comments. Okay, I'm sorry. I see Karen. Oh, nope, that's not
No,
who are we
go
talking
ahead.
about, Spirit? Kimberly with the IE. So, Kimberly, is there a son? One, two, is he diagnosed or even presenting
She said
forms of,
her ex does.
oh, her ex did? Okay.
Mhm.
What about, but specifically the son? Because I want to talk about the son for a moment. Is the son diagnosed with MPD, multiple personality disorder, right now? Well, okay, let me see. X did. If X is the father, then typically that's a 50-50 chance of that transferring over anyway. So that could be very possible. So, but I want to make sure
Right.
um, with Kimberly. I see Kimberly says yes, but I think that was yes to something I
Right.
said earlier with him. Let me explain what's happening. One, I'm not a medical professional, so that's just always the thing. Okay, and my son has been at his house for 1.5 years. Okay. He
He
thank you.
is
That's
not.
that's what I wanted. He has not.
Okay.
So be mindful of your son right now. And here's where I wanted to go with that. Because I feel like your son needs a lot of shielding right now. Um, And the reason I was asking if he was presenting or diagnosed with it, because I feel like he may carry that gene. So I'm curious, is this father that has multiple personality disorder, or the X, sorry, is the X with multiple personality disorder, is he also the father? I feel like he is, and there's a tie-in, and son is with this particular guy. And that's why I'm kind of going there. But either way, I want to say guard him
Said my
as
son won't
carefully.
speak to me.
Your son won't speak to you. Great. Okay. Well, not great, but um, I feel like what's happening with him right now is two parts. I feel like some of this is instigated by dad, but I feel like some of this is he's now in that onset of, I'm going to say it this way, and I think she'll understand
Yeah.
what. Okay, so yes, with the father with bipolar, I feel like some of what's happening is the onset of a little bit of paranoia that's happening. So I want to say to you, don't take that too personal. I feel like some of this is just he's not engaging in his health as strong as he needs to, and this is not your fault. This is all of that to say this is not your fault. This is not your journey. This is nothing that you did wrong. A lot of this is that you feel so deeply and you want to heal that process and the relationship. And this is just his journey he needs to go through um, as well. Is he in his late, like, is he teenager side of things? 16, 17? Is he around that age? How old is he? Um, he eventually comes through, but it's interesting. I feel like this is going to be a couple of years that this pans out with him as well. If you've been kind of keeping a distance, holding space for him, but definitely away from dad, you away from dad, that's really healthy. So I'm going to say, as you continue to work through your own personal growth, energetically, that also heals that relationship as well. So it's not going to be a direct one-to-one right now for him. But understand, spirit hears you, spirit sees you, spirit is working on that particular dynamic, especially with turning the heart. I feel like dad's maybe been a little malicious, or let me say, sorry, X. X has been a little malicious in this particular category. There's some softening happening with him. Allow that process to work itself out. So does this make sense,
Yes,
Kimberly?
I believe she does.
Okay, perfect. Okay.
No, that's a different else. And you guys, when my hands are moving like this, I'm trying so hard, but I miss him so much. And when I'm
Oh,
doing
okay.
this, he's channeling, I'm healing. I'm also a healer, so I'm an intuitive healer, and Spirit is having me work on each person that he is talking about. So if you're wondering why I'm moving my hands, is because when he said soothing, my hands slowed down. Before then, we're kind of piggybacking the same message. He's talking, I'm channeling healing. So
Perfect. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
do you have a time frame? Kim said.
The first thing that came to me was 6 months.
Okay.
6 months. And thank you for that too. And I'll say, as always, I will say our community, they kind of know right now, but anytime that someone is receiving messages from spirit, that they're getting revelation, healing, please join in, connect with everyone consciously, subconsciously, energetically, send prayers out, collaborate. If you're a person of prayer and you take notes, write their name down, pray for them later. Absolutely. Always try to unite with anyone that's coming through. I feel like that's where we can't necessarily always be with people physically. We can always unite, even if it's encouragement with one another. So definitely, as you're hearing other people have their experience right now, celebrate with them, cry with them, comfort with them, the whole process. Absolutely, because we're all in this together. It may not be you right now, but it may be you later. So that cycle always shifts for all of us. Absolutely. Yeah. Um,
Did you see that, Calvin?
hmm
Okay. I figured you did.
It's interesting. Kimberly's asking Court. It's very interesting. Spirit says, give it. it's interesting. Give it by his birthday. Give him time by his birthday. Is the ex or the son's birthday in the next couple of months? This is for Kimberly with the IE. That's how I have to remember it. I have these like little ways that I help remember people's names because when I'm in this space, the names disappear. Um, yeah. Oh, and Kimberly can just kind of go in there. There is somebody that I'm trying to figure out. The husband passed away. I'm trying to figure out who it was. Um,
Was it Lydia's?
so Kimberly, give it by October the 12th, the October birthday. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Patty's husband passed away. That's true. Her first husband. Lots.
Was his birthday in March?
There you go. That's better. My husband passed.
Whose
Yeah.
birth? Whose was in March? Or let me rephrase. Past or birthday is in March. Who was that? Uh, I feel like I'm at Jackie. Who
Yes,
is it? The
Patty.
person, their birthday or their passing was in March.
Patty said
This
yes.
is the person.
Oh, and Jamie. We got piggyback message. Jamie's March 15th is me, and then Patty said my late husband. His birthday.
Okay, so that's what I'm getting. So the passing was one passing was in March, but the other birthday was in March as well.
And then Jamie said my dad passed in March. And then
Okay,
my
so I think that's like four because I'm getting four situations. One passed at the hospital, one passed suddenly, they were at work. Sorry, spouse was at work, got the call. The other one, tragic accident. Car? Car? That's the third one. Um, the fourth one was he was already dealing with something terminal anyway. So let me place these four really quickly. Actually, let's keep it real simple. How did everybody's husband pass? Because like I have four men here. Um, two of which let me see, got to place them. When four people start talking at the same time, it's always interesting.
mm-hmm.
So let's play this through. All right,
So there's a son in March 16th died in car accident. My dad.
these are all spouses.
Oh, all spouses. Okay.
These are all spouses right now.
My dad passed at home. An ambulance took him to the hospital. I can't read the rest. Patty said lung cancer.
Okay, so that's the lung cancer. Okay, one.
So Patty. And then Lisa's saying my dad, hospital, March 14th.
Okay, I'll take that. Let me open it up. I'll take that. So that was the hospital one. The second
Yep.
one was the terminal.
And
Who's
yeah,
the
there's actually
tragic?
two people cancer.
Two people cancer. Who is the tragic accident? And that may be the son. So let me open it back up. It may be the son.
Okay.
How did somebody died in a really tragic accident? Who was that?
My sister's dad.
Also tied to March.
Okay. Libby said mine passed terminal at home. Libby was
Okay.
that in March.
Okay, so the one with the let's go back.
Mm-hmm.
Terminal cancer, March. Whoever that's for. He's saying, sorry he did not take that as seriously as he should have earlier than what he should have. Yes, he knew, he waited, but he was also the love of your life. He still cares, loves for you. Hmm. He's showing me a connection with boom, 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 your mom that's there. um, Also, looks like your mom. And he is saying, thank you so much for the life that you guys had together. So this is the one with the terminal cancer.
Okay.
Okay, whoever that's for. Next. Who is the other person at the hospital side of things?
I'm not
That
sure.
one feels sudden to me. Like
Well,
there was a event, there was kind of a fight, there was a cool off period, there was an issue of something happening in the hospital, didn't come out. Who is that? I'm gonna open this up to all male right now.
mm-hmm.
Who is that?
My,
Okay, dad, hospital,
mm-hmm.
sudden but heart issues. Okay, great. That one with dad is he's coming through almost in a space of um, again, whenever I mention it like this, it's not to say that somebody's dad or brother or whoever is a bad person ever. I just don't translate it that way. But they do always convey messages. So for the dad that passed away, and that felt very sudden, that one with him, I felt like he was very much a, how do I say, um, kind of a hard ass in a sense. Very, very strong will, but very loving, loved you. Who is that? Okay, message is gone. Just listen. But very, very much loved you. But so a lot of the strong personality that came through with him, specifically with you, that he was a fighter. He kind of transferred a lot of that fighting energy and that tenacity over to you. That's his legacy towards you. So while he's kind of coming across and saying like, sorry, I wasn't as, lovey-dovey with you and as emotionally connected. Um, you never doubted that there was a love for you. So for the dad connected with this person with
Yeah,
the
Jamie.
heart issue, that's his message for you. Okay. Okay. So that's Jake.
Mm-hmm.
Is that Jamie?
Yeah.
Jamie, definitely strong willed, loved us all. That's how dad's coming through. Um, the one cancer we dealt with that. I have two others here also. Um, I'm trying to place this one because this one feels like dad was, I'll just say it, alcoholic or substances were kind of an issue. And there was also a sudden death with that one as well. Um, that one is definitely more of a super sorry that you're still working through this. And that was the legacy I left you. So I'm trying to place him. So who is that?
I know Lisa said her dad died of cancer, but I'm not sure yet.
Okay, it's fine. Here's what also happens to some people. They'll message me later and say, "Oh, that was me."
Yeah. Becky says sounds like my ex, but I don't know.
Is your ex passed away, Becky?
Call. My dad died suicide. Angel said. My sister's died from al. My sister died liver. I don't think this is a male. My sister died.
Kimberly. This one's for Kimberly. I'll just redirect it to Kimberly. Your dad is coming. This is so. I'm just gonna veer this to Kimberly, um, as well. Um, his words, literally, almost exactly, are sorry that I did not give you a good example of how a man should treat his wife. That's how he's saying it right now. I'm sorry, I did not give you a good example of how a man, husband, should treat his wife or treat his spouse. Um, so to not go too much into that right now because
Right.
I'm getting a lot of pictures with that. Um, if there was challenges with your mom and him, especially like domestic violence, or if some of that kind of seeped into you where you were afraid of relationships because if you didn't want to repeat the same things with your dad, dad is saying sorry for that particular image and archetype of men that don't follow his particular example of I'll just say it because you know it is what it is. Domestic violence, abuse, emotional unattachment, and that does not have to be your story because that was part of his journey. That now that he's kind of gone through that particular process, he has a level of clarity that he can see that that didn't necessarily help you in the relationship department, but for whatever healing and consolation is for, that I feel like that's a working through as well. And I want to say I feel like that's a working through with you anyway, because I feel like what you do a lot is absorb responsibility where other people should, and not that it's enabling, which probably it is, um, but that's more of your compassion and heart for people, and that you will take the abuse, you'll take it on as yourself to give people an opportunity to battle their own demons, which is what I felt happen, or actually I see happen a lot with your dad. So that is saying thank you for that, but also kind of your journey is, you know, done there. That mission is complete, so kind of a well done, and now you can really move on to your next stage and journey. Does that make sense? Who was I talking about?
Kim.
Kim.
Mhm.
Yeah. Does that make sense, Kim?
She kept saying yes as you were talking.
Oh,
So.
she was okay. Perfect.
Mhm.
Okay.
She said yes. Thank you.
I'm gonna pause on the accident part because there's an accident that happened with someone that had a heart attack. So, but um, so I'll pause it unless somebody just comes and says, "Oh, that was me." So, yeah. Okay. All right. There we go. Boom.
Thank you. Thank you so much
You're welcome.
for all your messages for everybody and insight. I know we've already been on here super long, and everybody's like, "I gotta go back to work. I gotta go." Um, so yeah, thank you so much for
You're welcome.
channeling messages and being my guest and talking about healing, talking about awakening children, talking about they're literally the wave of the future and light. Um, do you have anything else to say? Do you have anything, questions you want to ask me? Anything you're thinking, hearing, feeling, seeing of spirit?
You know, I'll say this that we're coming into a new era. I'll say it that way. A new era where um spirit is just really committed. I'll say it that way. Really committed to reviving people's destiny. And it's just so strong. And again, it's probably because I'm a prophet, so a lot of that tends to always be there. But that's been a lot of the messages from the guides anyway, is that a lot of us have these just powers, these abilities, these gifts, and these opportunities really to express who we are. And I almost view it like the coming home of God, you know, the reunion of who we really are. So my encouragement is that as you're going through this journey, as you're starting to feel the unction, feel the leading to kind of step into your own, do that. We are all different emanations and expressions of the divine, and we express that in different ways. And as one person shows up, it's almost like a reunion. It's like we get to say, "Oh, that's the missing part I was waiting for, and that's the other part that I was looking for." And anytime that we just hide that and shield it, we rob ourselves from our own power, and two, we rob other people from um, the reconnection that we all long for. And again, that is, listen, I am not anyone that follows me knows me. I talk about this quite often. Um, I'm not one to talk about let's all have a bliss-filled, happy, lovey-dovey, love and light experience. And I appreciate that. I do. I do view that all things work for our good at some level, at some dimension. And we may not always have an understanding of that, but understanding sometimes comes through experience, it comes through time. I like it. I'll say this and then I'll shut up. But I like the Kabbalistic or the Jewish tradition of how they look at existence, which, like, for some of you that kind of follow the Bible, it's also in there too, where it says the evening and the morning were the first day. And it talks almost about the creative consciousness, creation in general. And it's interesting that it says that the evening was first and then the morning. I find that life is a lot like that we go through these places of darkness, these hard times, these cancers, these abortions, these miscarriages, these heartbreaks, these financial troubles. And that's our evening. Those are our dark times. And that's the beginning of all creation, manifestation. And that's where really the true power is. And that as much as we learn to embrace that, the shadow part, the dark parts, the hidden parts, we eventually will emerge. We will emerge into our light. We will emerge into our power. We will emerge into our understanding of what this is all for. We emerge into a space of wisdom that really helps to illuminate all the bullshit that we went through over the course of our dark points. So my encouragement is that if you're in a space of darkness right now, be encouraged, beloved. This is temporary. And if you're in a space of love and light and bliss and happiness right now, celebrate that too. Celebrate all things because it has a purpose as well. This whole experience is the making of your divinity. And if you're along the journey with me, I'm just going to keep calling you out on that and reminding you of that. And Spirit is going to keep us in that space of constant wonder until our unfolding in this reality and into our journey into the next space that we call the here beyond. So yeah, anyway, all of that to say thank you for everyone that joined us today. Thank you for all of our new people. Thank you for our believers, our skeptics, our friends, our foes, our in-betweeners. We love you all. Thank you for everyone that shared too. And yeah, again, you can follow, join us, connect with us. All of my stuff is somewhere on social media. We have events coming up. We have a gallery reading coming up in October, so that'll be fun. Super exclusive. It's only 8 people, 8 slots, so that'll be great. You can get the information on my website. And
What's your
we'll be in
website so
Sedona.
people can check on that?
Oh, yeah. It's calvinwitcher.com
Okay.
is the website. My Facebook is facebook.com/calvinwitcher. The gallery reading is October the 2nd. It's only going to be 8 people for that, so definitely make sure you secure your spot for that. We're going to be in Sedona
Yay.
in December. That's going to be super fun. Portland, and we're going to be in Portland too in mid-October, closer to the end. Yeah, so we have a lot of things coming up and live streams, and I do private readings as well. So there's a lot of ways that people can connect with me either way. So love you all so much. So
Awesome.
and thank you for having me on with you and connecting with you, and it's been great and fun, and you instigate it in me, you pull it out of me, and we're newfound soul friends, and
Yes, we are. Yes.
well, I love it. So it's good. We have a lot of things to come, so it's good.
Yes, we do. Thank you,
Yeah.
Calvin, so much for joining. Have a super fantastic day. You guys check out his Facebook, check out his website, connect with Calvin. If you are in Sedona or able to drive in California, New Mexico, or Nevada, Utah, Colorado, all the surrounding areas, drive to
Yeah.
Sedona. Come check him out. He will be there in December. Also in Portland. If we have any followers from Portland, check him out. All the information is on his page. Thank you so much for watching. Calvin, thank you for being a guest. Until next
Love
time,
you.
everybody. Bye. Have a great day.
Bye.